Welcome to Maker Camp.
It's Make-Believe Week, and we're model making with Aardman Animation, the creators behind Shaun the Sheep and Wallace and Gromit. Plus, we'll take a look at the digital side with Shaun's Game Academy.
And we're going to have on one of our affiliates, Create Space, at the Middletown Free Library in Pennsylvania. I'm very excited to speak with them. We're also going to be doing today's project together, creating Shaun the Sheep.
So let's get excited and get ready to make something great.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Camp Director Paloma.
And I'm Camp Director Burke. I'm really excited to welcome our guests for today. We're going to Aardman Animation, the creators of Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep. We're going to meet with model master Jim Parkyn. He's going to show us how to make our own Shaun the Sheep. We got our clay here. We got everything else getting ready. And we're going to meet with Dan Efergan, who is behind Shaun's Game Academy. So we'll have a great look at that today, too.
Yeah, but first we're going to bring on our affiliate site from Create Space at the Middletown Free Library. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to Maker Camp.
Say hi, guys.
Hi!
Oh, wow.
Oh, there's so many of you. Okay, so I want a couple of you to tell me, what is your name and what do you make?
Well, my name is Jeremy, and I like programming. So it's pretty much like making websites or mods or something.
Programming is awesome. I love it. I'm not great at it, but it is a very good step.
We're glad that you are.
We're glad that you're great at it.
Go ahead.
I like cooking.
You love cooking. Cooking is a great way to make things.
Awesome.
I love cooking. It's really
What
fun.
better than to eat the experiment?
There you go. And it's a great way to share how you make with your friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm Ava, and I like rescuing pets.
Nice. Rescuing
Wow.
pets is a great way to spend your time.
Yeah.
It's very noble. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And all of you, thank you so much for being with us, and stay with us because we're going to have a lot of questions later, and we have a very fun project that all of you are going to help us with today. But before we get into that, I want to bring on our guests today. We have some amazing people from Aardman Animations. They do Wallace and Gromit. They do Shaun the Sheep, which is so fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been enjoying and consuming what they do for a long time.
Since we were kids, really.
Yeah, well, you know, you were probably like 40 at the time, but we're so excited to bring on our guests today. So Jim Parkyn and Dan Efergan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Welcome to Maker Camp.
Yeah. Now, Jim and Dan, why don't you give us a background of your work at Aardman and also what you're going to show us today?
Well, I've been with Aardman Animations since 2000, so I started on chicken run and making beaks and cheeks and bits of body parts of chicken, and then I've kind of worked on Wallace and Gromit, Pirates, so I was head of Animatable Beards, and I've kind of done lots of different bits and pieces, creature comforts, and I spent a lot of time on a tiny farm making hundreds of sheep, so that's what we'll be doing today, so we're going to give you a little bit of a crash course in how to build your very own Shaun the Sheep today.
Awesome. Well, we've got our clay here, and our affiliate site has their clay, and our counselors who have joined us have some clay of their own. So why don't you show us how to make Shaun the Sheep?
We're ready.
Let's get cracking. So, as I say, the first thing we need is some black and white clay. This is the kind of clay we use, and this is kind of how it comes out of the pack. So I'm going to show you straight from the pack. I can see you guys have already warmed your clay through. I have to have really hot hands, so I don't need the warming up time. So and we'll get cracking. So what I want you to do is take half of your clay. So take half of your white piece. We're going to make all the white bits first, so we keep our Shaun as clean as possible. So we take half our clay, make sure it's nice and warm. The warmer the clay is, the softer it gets, and the easier it is to work with. And we're going to kind of ease our way into the session. We're going to make a sausage. Now you'll find that all of the things we make today are kind of based on food items, and I find that the easiest way is what I call the Jim Parkyn patented dinner method, and that makes it much more easy to remember what you're doing if everything's food based. So we're starting off with a sausage, something that looks a little bit like that. Now we don't want to worry about it making it too smooth. We can get our fingerprints in there because we're trying to make it look like wool, like fleece. So get your fingers in there. And we have a saying at Aardman Animations, and that's to keep things funny and funny.
Thummy and funny.
Funny and thummy.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes.
So get your fingerprints in there and really get a nice bit of texture. Now you can use sculpting tools for this as well, but just for speed we'll use our fingers. Now once you've got all of these bits down, we can actually make a whole flock of sheep. So you can make hundreds of different varieties of sheep, different colours using this method, and kind of fill your own farm with Shaun and his friends. So that's the body of our Shaun. So as I say, nice simple shapes. We can put that to one side. That's looking great so far. Very promising start.
Yes.
Get in. Okay, so we can put that to one side. So that's the easy bit. The next thing we're going to do is take half of what we have left over, and we're going to make the tail for our Shaun. So again, make sure the clay's nice and warm. It's always good to give it a little bit of a roll with your hands. And this time we're going to kind of make, I suppose, like a candy floss shape or a long kind of egg shape. So you can roll a ball out to start off with, and then just start to pinch out a kind of, as I say, a kind of candy floss kind of.
I want to get a little closer.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Okay, again, nice and fingerprinty, keeping that kind of texture as we go along. Okay, looking good. So we should end up with something that looks a little bit like that.
Okay.
Now at this stage we can take one of our toothpicks and we're going to snap it in half. We'll put one end in his bum and one end where we want his neck to be, like so. So it looks a little bit like a kind of a TV aerial, kind of 1950s kind of alien or a TV aerial. And we're going to pin the thin end onto whichever end we decide his bum is, and that's just going to hold the tail in place. What we can do is work our fingers around and work the clay back together again. So what we're trying to do, which is kind of appropriate as it's meant to look like wool, we're trying to knit the two bits of clay back together again so our Shaun doesn't fall apart later on. Now, ordinarily we would use wire or something like that just to hold our Shaun together, but this is more of what we'd call a maquette, like a working model for a sculpt. So actually what we do a lot at Aardman is sculpt things rather than draw them. So we start off with a very early sketch and then we'll actually go straight into modelling clay and start pushing the clay around and start pushing the characters around and seeing how they work in 3D. We find that's generally a bit quicker and a kind of a more interesting way to work as well. And you can get a whole room of people like we're doing today, just kind of pushing the clay around and making up characters. And you'll see, although we've all got the same amount of clay and we've all got the same instructions, each of our Shaun's day will kind of come out a little bit different. You'll all put a little bit of your own personality into your Shaun's. So we're looking for something that looks a little bit like that. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Smooth rotation. There we go. Now it looks like a huge tail, and you're right. Shaun does have a really, really big fluffy tail. If we make him in clay, this comes in really handy because without that large piece of clay on the back end, if we were to put his head on later on, you'll find that he tends to face plant into the table. So I've got the plasticine gene kind of evolution of modelling clay means that we've got a counterbalance of a tail to help him stand up later on.
So that's why he's got a massive tail in the show?
Yeah, pretty much,
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. This is new to me. So
It's new to us.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Well, they're looking fantastic so far. The hardest thing with using modelling clay is trying to keep it clean. So we do use a lot of wet wipes as well. So they're a constant kind of tool to kind of keep your hands and your modelling clay as clean as possible.
Yeah, I have very long fingernails, so I have to use my knuckle instead of going in there because I'm getting little lines everywhere.
It's very hard to be a lady and a maker. How are we doing over there?
We're having a great time. Let's see, Dan and Pierre, how are yours coming out? Very nice.
Great.
Very nice. And let's check in with the affiliate sites. Look like they're having tons of fun.
You hold us to the camera?
Hey, you guys, hold up your...
Nice work.
Looks
Looking good.
great.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely, a very promising start. That's brilliant. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next bit of our Shaun, and we're going to make some hair. Now, Shaun has a kind of a bun of hair on top of his head, so he has this kind of very black face and then this kind of pom-pom or almost like a burger bun of hair. So we can take off maybe a third of what we've got left over, and we're going to roll it into a ball, and then we'll squash it down to make a kind of, as I say, a kind of burger bun kind of shape, or a top knot is what we actually call it on the series. So Shaun's top knot. Now Shaun's unusual on the farm because there are only 2 sheep on the farm that actually have hair, and that's Timmy's mum has hair, and Shaun. We don't really know why none of the other sheep have hair, but there we go.
They're just not as stylish.
Yeah, it's kind of rakish, kind of a slightly kind of a little bit kind of house party, a little bit of an afro kind of flat top thing going on as well. So something that looks a little bit like that. As I say, we're making all the white bits now, and this will just keep our Shaun as clean as possible for later on. And the last thing we need to do is make some eyes for him to see. So we can, oh, and a neck as well, actually. I almost forgot the neck. Quite important. So again, we can take off a small amount of clay, and we're going to make it like a small, almost like a kind of a food can kind of shape, a bit like that, a cylinder kind of shape for his neck. Now we don't want it very long, so you can see with mine, just about to see that when you pop the neck over the toothpick, we want a little bit, it doesn't stick into his body, a little bit poking at the end so we can actually stick the head on later on, we can pin the head on. So we should end up with something that looks a little bit like a roll neck. There we go. And again, we can blend the 2 bits together. So again, knitting the clay again together. So make sure you've got plenty of toothpick poking out the end. Otherwise his head tends to roll off, something we don't really want.
No, that'd be scary.
Now, we don't want his neck too long. As I say, it's not Shaun the alpaca, because frankly it's a bit too hard to rhyme alpaca with the things. Sheep's much easier to rhyme. So there we go. So something like that. Brilliant. Guys, you're doing really well. This is looking great.
You're too kind. But it is very fun. I can see how you could completely get some really fun characters out of it.
We can always hide behind the camera resolution.
Yeah,
I'm sure it looks much better.
Let's bring it. Everyone who's watching on YouTube, bring your quality down to about the lowest setting, and then it'll look great. And then when the camera switches to them, you can bring it back up.
Yeah.
Looking fantastic so far. So should we have a look around and see how everybody's getting on there?
Yeah. Okay, Dan and Pierre, let's check in and see how you're doing. Oh man, this looks great. Pierre, I love how bulbous the tail is. And everyone at the affiliate, let's see yours. Hold them all up and let's see.
We're still working on the necks a bit.
That's okay. Looking good so far, though. Great.
Yeah.
We're going to end up with a great flock over there. Lovely. Now on the series we actually have, and on the feature film as well, we have a Shaun in the City feature film coming out early next year. We have around 150 sheep in our flock, so
wow.
Quite a lot to look after. We have, as I say, you can use these kind of rules to build lots of different shapes. So we've got Timmy's mum, we've got Timmy, obviously who's Shaun's nephew as well. So tiny sheep. There's a guy on a bike just gone by. That's quite cool. We
have an interesting backdrop here sometimes.
And obviously we have Timmy's mum, and we have Shirley, who's one of my favourites, the big sheep. Then she's kind of like the Millennium Falcon or the A-Team van of the sheep world, really, where they smuggle cakes and snacks and tools for escape. And kind of she's the source of most of their adventures, and they hide in her fleece as well. So you can kind of use these rules and just kind of change the proportions and make a whole flock of different characters. So we have a body and tail with a neck on it, and we have some hair. The last thing we need in our white clay is eyes. Now, we just need 2 tiny balls of clay. Well, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to make a kind of anime or manga style, Shaun, you can kind of go for really big eyes. But something about the size of a good garden pea probably is a good size. Now, we've got plenty of clay left over, so if you find that your eye's too big or too small, you can always kind of roll some out later on as well. But roughly the same size as what we're aiming for. So again, something that looks like that.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't want anything too posh. I'm not looking for petit pois or sugar snap peas. Just nice 2 round little peas like that. Great. Now, keep those safe to one side. Don't do as I did as a child. Put them up your nose and then safe keeping.
Don't put these up your nose. Okay?
Thanks for the warning, Bert. Thanks.
I'm just looking out for you.
Now, the last bit of white clay we have, that's yours to do whatever you like with. We can make a smile for him later on, or you can accessorise your Shaun with anything you like, really. So we'll keep that to one side for later on. So now is probably a good time to give your hands a wipe over. Otherwise, we'll end up with a kind of aging Shaun, greyed out. So we get through hundreds and hundreds of wet wipes, and it is one of the most useful tools you'll use. Alongside this, which is probably our most commonly used secret ingredient. Now, can anybody guess what the secret ingredient in the cup is?
I'm gonna go with water. I'm gonna make a safe bet.
And it's the right answer. So it's great because you can drink it, obviously, as you're model making. But also, if you dip your fingers into it or whatever tools you're using, you can always use that to smooth over the clay as well, and that helps to give you a really kind of super smooth finish.
And our very nice Make branded water here.
Yeah, I'm loving those. I was admiring those earlier.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
Snickershed.com.
We do have our own, but unfortunately, that's not there. There it is. There it is. We do have our Wallace thing.
I'll trade. I'll trade you.
We want to trade. We would like to organize a trade.
There's biscuits over here as well.
Yeah.
Cookies as well.
Yeah, we could do the whole show just going through the shelves behind you.
Yeah. This little shelf off a little bit.
Shelf off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some cool
stuff.
stuff.
Some stuff
we
back
got some
there.
robots and rockets.
I'd say we should trade all of our stuff for your stuff.
Yeah,
we could just swap places. We'll come and join you guys for a bit in the sun.
Yeah, no, I'm so down for that.
I'm okay with this.
So we've got all the white bits of our Shaun done. Now we're going to move on to I think we're going to move on to the head actually. So what we need to do, this is kind of tricky because you kind of need to do it a little bit by eye. So if you find you haven't got enough clay, just add a little bit more on. We're going to take off, I would say, it's quite tricky with lumps of clay, a piece about the size of, what would you say? A size of a plum, I suppose. So I'm trying to think of food items. So, as I say, we can roll the clay out into a kind of egg shape again. So to start off with, but you'll kind of have to offer it up to the body as well to kind of get it right. Otherwise, you can end up with a tiny, tiny kind of head like a pea, or a massive, massive kind of like a Nintendo kind of me kind of character. So you end up with a giant wobbly head. So kind of add or take off as you kind of whatever looks right, really. As I say, we're going to start off with an egg shape. So Shaun's muzzle is kind of a nice round shape, and then his head slightly
too big, too small.
I think that's a little on the big side. Okay. So again, the trick
Yours is just really smart. You've got the smartest sheep.
Now, something like that is probably a good size.
Can you guys see it all right?
Can you see that? Yeah.
Okay. Mine is too big.
I think mine's the right size.
It's kind of cartoony if you put a big giant head as well, so that's okay really. You'll kind of make them your own anyway as we go along. Now, with the egg shape with the pointy end, if you just tap it on the table and make a flat platform, now that's going to give us somewhere to put Shaun's hair later on. So it looks a little like that. Now, you guys won't have it so much over there, but I always say when I do workshops over here, Shaun's head is kind of like we call a pint of Guinness. So it's like a kind of British slang. So you've got this kind of pint glass kind of shape, and then this kind of frothy white hair on top. So it's
that makes so much sense to me. It was a little bit difficult to understand before, but that clears it up.
Now his is going to be perfect.
So we've got sausages, we've got candy floss, we've got eggs, we've got plums, we've got beer now as well. We've got the whole thing going on.
Now I'm going to be hungry and thirsty every time I watch Shaun the Sheep.
I think about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while we're working on getting our heads straight, Dan, could you give us a little rundown of Shaun's Game Academy?
Yeah, of course. So obviously everyone here seems to know quite a lot about the animation we make, about all the characters, and in particular the clay and the films and therefore the TV stuff we do. But actually, as well as all this physical stuff, my job here as the creative director of the digital bit is to kind of branch out into new adventures and onto new platforms. So we get to make the games and the websites. We do a lot of coding, so I like my friend out there in the affiliate site. And one of the things that we've all found ourselves getting quite excited by, we always love kind of sharing our passions with the rest of the world. So going out and doing workshops for model making, but in this case we got a chance to set up a game making kind of studio called Shaun's Game Academy. So it's a whole load of resources to help build Shaun games. And it's on the Scratch platform. I'm assuming you guys have you done some stuff with the Scratch platform before? The guys over at MIT?
Yeah, the Scratch has been great with Maker Camp. I mean, the campers are just loving using that software.
And actually, didn't we have Jay Silver on earlier?
Yeah, Jay Silver.
So, yeah.
Jay Silver. People from Makey Makey were around, and they were talking about interfacing Makey Makey with Scratch. And the people on the Google Plus page have been using it like crazy. So we're very familiar with that platform. I love it.
Yeah, Scratch is great.
One of the best for when you're out there learning coding. So we've basically put a load of Shaun assets on there, so you can kind of build your own games. And try and basically kind of make little animations, make games, make what you like with the Shaun stuff, and there's a whole set of resources on how to help you make a platform game. So I kind of balance out all this physical stuff with the weird geeky platformy stuff as well. So
I love both of those.
Yeah, I think having knowledge in both realms can definitely expand your horizons as a maker. So being able to do all of that, I think is essential. Even.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it crosses over. I mean, I talk about it as if it's totally separate, but I know the amount of things like animatronics and engineering that goes into some of the sets. I know with Wallace and Gromit, the Matter of Loaf and Death, the background of one of the scenes there where it's in the mill is all cogs and things flying around the place. But of course, if you imagine taking shots on the camera, one shot, then moving it, then taking another shot, and then moving it, it's how do you get the cogs in the background to keep looking like they're moving around at high speed. And so there's lots of kind of computerized animatronics that kind of just move all the cogs on one little bit at a time. And it's actually a lot more high tech than just Nick Park's shed.
Yeah, no, we use a great deal, often with building our pie machines and the mill. We'll actually often build them in the computer first, so we'll actually work out how the gearing on a bread mill, and windmill will work, and also we use that huge amount for the Pirates in an Adventure film we made. We use a lot of 3D printing and
because wasn't it this time you sculpted the original characters and then 3D scanned them in so that they became computerized.
That's right.
Then cleaned them up. And then did all the mouth shapes, and then reprinted out on a 3D printer all the mouth shapes to stick on.
So essentially, we animated the film twice, really. So we actually animated all the puppets' facial expressions in CG and Maya, I think, and then printed them out, and then reanimated them on the stop-motion puppet, which is great because it meant the animators didn't have to worry about what they were saying, but they could concentrate on the swashbuckling and all the fight scenes. So it meant we could also populate our world of pirates with a load of CG pirates as well, so we could actually kind of get a lot more kind of bang for a buck kind of thing. So yeah.
I love the combination of that. The engineering and the creativity. When those two come together, you get something really special. Just every time that those are in harmony.
And I really appreciate a studio that will take the best bits of both eras of technology and blending them together to create something that you really couldn't do with them separately.
Yeah.
It requires both ends of the spectrum to really create some of the great stuff you guys are doing. So that's something I always admire.
Yeah, thank you.
Something I've learned being here is what's interesting is that the thing that drives everything here seems to be the characters and the story. You know, it's like obviously we're known quite a lot for the stop motion animation, but the reason I believe the reason why people fall in love with the stuff that's made is because of the lovable characters, the warm characters, and the stories that are told. And so what we find is that drives forward what we're trying to do, and then the techniques just they just happen to come together to work out how to get it out there. It's
often whatever tells the story best at the time. So we do have a lot of CG projects, and also it's the things that kind of build the universe as well. After the film, it's the games and all the website that sits with it that kind of makes the whole world a bit more kind of bit bigger and a bit more long term. Yeah. So next thing we need for our head is a pair of ears. Now, I've kind of made a couple of kind of flower petal shapes, really. So really, without his hair, I've just stuck them on like this. You can see I'll just kind of pin these in place at the moment, and then you can kind of work them on. You put the ears on the top of his head, so he kind of looks like a mixture between a space hopper and a tiny little kind of black Yoda, really, as well. So kind of very simple shapes again, kind of flower petal shapes right on the top of the head, so they sit level with that flat platform. They can stick out at a kind of jaunty angle from the sides. So you can kind of, again, if you're building puppets in CG, you can, in 3D, you can use this technique as well. Using basic geometry and models, you can build all sorts of different shapes. It's all about cylinders and and spheres and cubes, and you can build a whole kind of geometric version of these. In 2D drawn, in CG, and in stop motion as well. So you can employ all those techniques across the board to create really cool characters and kind of believable 3D characters.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean that works with traditional art as well. In fact, all art kind of it's breaking down complex shapes into simple geometric shapes, and then using your imagination to fill in those gaps and create from there.
I think it's really useful. Say you can build pretty much anything from these sets, and build the whole world in which these characters live as well. So it just really helps you, kind of build that 3D universe. So this is what my Shaun looks like at the moment. So it's a.
Did you use cocktail sticks, or you just stuck it on?
I just stuck them on. There's enough strength in the clay to kind of keep them on there, really. And he's got quite good-sized ears. Shaun's not really the biggest of sheep. He's quite runty, really. He's kind of a small. We think Shaun is kind of 11, 12 years old, so really he's just coming into being a kind of teenager. So he hasn't really filled out to be the big ram that he's got the potential to be. He's just a kind of quite a small sheep, but seems to still rule the roost, really. Now we've got our head. We need a few extra features on there. We need for him to breathe through, so we need to make some nostrils or nose holes. So we can use our toothpicks again, and just at the bottom of his face, we can just poke in cocktail stick and give it a little bit of a wiggle, just to open up two nice round holes. Now, if you watch Shaun, you'll notice that actually when he's not making, well, any of the sheep aren't making a noise, they don't have mouths. They just have this very simple shape on their heads, and then we have a set of about 16 different kind of stick-on resin mouth shapes that we can kind of cycle through for whenever we need them. So, but when they're not making noises, we don't need a mouth, and there's enough character in there just to keep it nice and simple. So we have, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. You can just about see a pair of nostrils there. Just about to see it. And the last thing we need to do with the head is either use pencil or cocktail sticks, and we're going to be a little bit brutal, and we're going to poke him where his eyes should be. So we're going to put a toothpick in, and we're going to waggle 2 good-sized holes to make eye sockets, roughly big enough to sit those eyeballs we made earlier. And you can always take the little bit of clay out in between the 2 holes with a toothpick. And that will just make a nice kind of eye socket. Otherwise, he ends up with really kind of googly bug eyes.
So they're quite close together.
Yeah, they actually touch. His eyeballs actually touch. So,
okay.
So don't be afraid to take a little bit of clay out. And you can just soften the edges with your fingers. It's gone awfully quiet over there.
So focused.
We're concentrating.
I just don't want to let you guys down.
But you're doing really well. This is a real crash course in sheep building. Normally we take longer than this, but you don't have to. You can have really kind of nice rough and ready animations, and they've got loads of character and lots of movement. So we spend a lot of time at Aardman making the fingerprints show up, as I say, funny and thummy, and we're trying to show that they are actually handcrafted puppets. In fact, as we were talking about pirates earlier, pirates is a really great example. After we scanned our modelling clay sculpts in, we tidied them up in the computer, but we found that actually you would lose some of the detail. So we actually had our fingerprints digitally scanned and then actually put onto the faces of and the jackets of the pirates. So we kind of cheated the fingerprints back in there again. So it's a little bit of cheating, but it adds a bit of life and that handmade kind of thing, which I think is something that we're really well known for, and I think just kind of adds some a nice texture to the whole thing as well. It's the imperfections that we put.
Very different faces.
Yeah, mine's all tiny. His is huge.
Well, I have a large head.
You do have a large head.
Modeling after myself.
You're modeling in your own image.
Yeah.
Mine just looks angry.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about how you get, what makes something look angry and what makes it look happy and things like that?
Well, I think the thing we're most famous for, obviously, is as well as Shaun, is Wallace and Gromit, and Shaun is from that world. Now, if we have something like Gromit doesn't actually have a mouth at all. Shaun doesn't often, but he can't actually express himself by speaking and with his mouth. So.
Find a Gromit for you. There's a good, just in case for reference. This is obviously a cuddly Gromit rather than a real one, but just in case you haven't met Gromit.
If you turn the label around slightly, you can see there's a picture of him on there.
Okay, yeah.
Now you can see, I don't know if you can see that on there. And you can see on his head, he has around his eyebrows. What is his brow? Is what we call the Wallace and Gromit monobrow. So one piece of clay, the kind of flap of clay that kind of gives Wallace and Gromit most of their expression. So if you push it down, you can kind of make him look frowning, and if you pull it up, you can make him look surprised or
there might be a better one here.
Oh, there we go.
There's
a great example.
So this is him surfing a marrow, I think, in this particular case.
So I'll wear a bit movie.
But you can see, the brow is where all of his expression comes from.
Now, if you push one end down and one end up, you can kind of give him a kind of Roger Moore, kind of James Bond, kind of suave, sophisticated. So you really don't need a lot of material or features on the face to kind of convey all this emotion, and obviously the ears flapping around helps as well. So so that's kind of our kind of stock and trade, is that what we call the Wallace and Gromit monobrow.
So it's generally the eyebrows, isn't it, in animation?
Yeah.
It's the amount of that you move those, the amount of surprise or anger or frustration.
Yeah,
much like I'm doing now. Yeah.
What's really funny is I have one of the plush Gromits from what is it, almost 20 years ago now, from a long time ago, and even the earlier plush, you do that with the brow and convey emotions with it. I would sit there all the time and just kind of press one side or the other to have confusion or anger or surprise. If you squeeze it, the brow goes up, so it's kind of like a shocked look.
Was this just you and Gromit? Did you spend a lot of time conversing, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was about 10, and I would just sit there and with it, and like I'd get my own clay and try to make models of it and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
You see, something like Feathers McGraw, that obviously the bad guy in Wrong Trousers, is just essentially like a 10-pin bowling. It's like a skittle, really. It's like a bowling pin, but with these two little black beady eyes. And there's no brow and there's nothing there, but he has this malevolence.
Is that because he has nothing?
I think so, because he has this blank stare and there's a stillness. Yeah. One of the most difficult things in animation is to be brave enough to not move the puppet and just have it locking eyes with the camera. And that gives that kind of just silly little bit of modelling clay.
Yeah.
Has such menace, and yeah, it's brilliant.
Ooh.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. I mean, it was very menacing just because you couldn't tell what he was thinking the whole time because there's no emotion conveyed. It added this, and I always loved that the little blink and the slight sound you'd hear from the blink.
Yes.
It's enough to like get you like what's happening. Yeah. Like I loved it. Like I would watch that over and over again. And
I need to go watch it like today. Like just now that I've been looking at all of this and like seeing how everything's developing, now I really need to go back and reevaluate everything.
Oh yeah, I would watch Wrong Trousers over and over again. And the measuring tape scene, I would like play it in slower frames to see how they got the bounce back with the and everything.
Well, we think it's probably. It packs everything that a feature film has into 27 minutes. It's kind of the perfectly paced film, and I think for a lot of us that is the perfect kind of the seminal Wallace and Gromit and the seminal Aardman movie as well. I think it just has all of those great elements of like Thomas Crown Affair, and it's got a kind of the perfect bad guy, and and a chase scene, and it's just got everything in it. It's just great.
Should we have a little look around and see how everyone's doing?
Yeah. Okay, Dan and Pierre, let's see how's your head.
Looking
very
good.
nice.
Ooh,
Pierre's looking great.
Yeah.
That's looking good. Great.
And let's check in with the affiliate side. You guys, you're all going ahead and creating your heads. It looks really great.
Fantastic. Okay, so I think we're ready to put some legs on our sheep. So
yes.
I think first things first, we'll do some hooves. So what I'd like to do is take off 4 small lumps of clay, roughly rolled into a ball about the size of a marble, I would say. Or I'm trying to think of what kind of candy is it. We have a candy balls called Revels or Maltesers, but I'm not sure you have those over there.
No, we don't.
Or marbles will do, but don't eat marbles. That's all I'm going to say.
This is hard for me because I had a marble collection as a kid. They were all different sizes.
They're very filling, but I wouldn't recommend eating.
They're very filling.
So we're looking for 4 marble-sized balls of clay, and what we're going to do is I'll do it on my hand so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Is squash them into a hemisphere, or half a ball, or a cup shape, so we get that nice round kind of flat bottom. Pushing down. So you're trying to keep a kind of half of the sphere.
Okay.
A bit like the end product kind of looks a bit like a golf tee, really, or a sink plunger. So we're kind of very hose-like legs, kind of tubular legs, in this half a cup.
So like suckers, like.
Yeah, like a sucker. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a really good.
It's not food-based. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Ice cream cones? No.
Well, I mean, if you go with calamari, but those are.
Yeah. What kind of a mushroom kind of thing? But
yeah, mushroom cap would be good.
Yeah, something like that. Really struggling with the food analogy of this.
Candy buttons, like
I was thinking I was thinking that.
Probably a little bigger than that, though.
So what we're doing really is building this kind of kit of bits, an assembly line of sheep bits, so we can make lots and lots of them. The same now if we're making wear-a-bit bunnies, or if we're making grommets, or if we're making Shauns. If you kind of build this kit of bits, you can kind of make sure that all of his feet are the same size and all the legs are kind of working, and that way you can kind of build a whole load of them en masse and build a Shaun army, which is kind of good because as I say, we have well over 150 sheep in our flock, and we're constantly maintaining them as well. So we have animal hospital where they come into kind of animal A&E they come off the sets and have to get kind of refurbed and cleaned and broken legs repaired. And
have you any idea how many Shauns we would have used for the movie? How many Shauns there are?
We have a core of about 30 Shauns, but we have extras. We have a thing in stop motion because the bodies are kind of set in positions, or set. There are set things they can do. We have cycling Shauns and we have stunt Shauns. So we have stunt puppets as well. So we have half torsos from the waist up, so we can hide them through hedges, and we have sliceable ones so we can put them in chunks through hiding a machinery and diving through holes and all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
We also have things like Shirley with holes through, and she has trapdoors in there so we can
take things out.
Yeah, so we can move things around and do that kind of thing as well. So it's yeah. So we probably have about 50 Shauns in all, different sizes. And we have a Shaun skin rug as well, and there's all sorts of different versions.
Wow. It's really cool to know that there's so many different specialized ones, and it makes perfect sense to do so. And then yet having a lot of interchangeable parts, I mean, that's great in order to keep, that many Shauns or many sheep in general. Just, yeah.
Gives you options.
When we're shooting, if an arm breaks or an ear falls off, we can change that on set, and the animator can just be off and onable, so it's kind of easily removable at all times. Because you might have noticed actually, if you're watching something like Shaun, the sheep, when they're being seen by the farmer, act like sheep, so they're always on all fours and they walk around like real animals. But as soon as his back's turned, they jump up and they move around like people. And also that they have hooves. If they're not carrying anything, all the sheep have hooves and they all have sheep legs. But as soon as we need to make them throw a ball or write something, they suddenly got this kind of mitten-like hand as well. So they have a thumb and a hand paddle, so they can kind of can write and draw and play snooker and table tennis and all those kind of things. So we've hopefully got 4. Looking like you've got 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just about, yeah. Trying to get I noticed it's kind of tricky for me at least to get the hoof sizes the same.
Yeah.
Getting used to the feel.
Mine look way too small, so I'm making them bigger.
Mine might be too big. I mean.
I think Chunky's kind of good actually. It's kind of nice and cartoony. The idea is that his hooves are bigger than his legs, so otherwise they end up with strange little kind of trottery feet. So you want kind of nice cartoony shape. So yeah, Chunky's good.
All right.
Getting there. And so then we've got kind of like a dome shape, and then you're starting to pinch yours up. So do we want it to end up being pinched up like that?
A dome is good actually. A dome is really good.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is take a lump of clay, and we're going to roll out a long hose, really, or a long sausage shape. So we've got enough clay to make 4 nice long legs. So as I say,
you're taking about quarter of the black, another half of what you had again.
Maybe half of what we've got left, and then you can use your table to roll out. Again, good to make sure you get the clay nice and warm for this one.
Sorry, if I roll this on the table, then I might shake the camera.
We're not having an earthquake.
Apologies.
We're just rolling clay.
Yeah, we have fancy space technology where our camera is hung from the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's actually being hung from space itself.
From space. Yeah, it's a really long spike. But
we do have a very cool kind of robotic arm that we use for mounting cameras, but it's not really steady cams.
No.
Okay.
Definitely don't have anything in space. That's unfortunate.
No.
Yeah. I mean, when you come out and we switch places, you can have a space camera.
Yeah, you can have the space camera.
Now, I can see with Danny, you've got very fine legs there.
Okay,
I don't think they're going to support his weight. So we're looking for something about the thickness of a pencil, probably, or a pen. So quite thin, but you need to, obviously you need to be able to support his own weight a little bit. Now we're going to use toothpicks snapped in half, kind of pin the legs onto the body so they don't fall away, but we leave enough clay flexibility so we can pose the legs if we want to as well.
Okay, of course.
As I say, these are more kind of for maquette making, for kind of getting your base characters, and you can always slide wire into these, or actually if you make them sturdy enough, you can animate them as just modelling clay as well. So I'd probably tear off or slice off 4 nice long legs. So say at this stage it doesn't matter too much if they're over long. It's kind of hard to see really. You kind of need to judge for yourself a little bit. You're better off with them being over long at the moment. Tear off 4 roughly equal legs, and then we can start to add them to the top of the dome, so we get that kind of golf tee look to them. As I say, it doesn't matter if they're not equal lengths, we can always squash and tear off bits as we go along. It's a little bit of trial and error and whatever looks right for your sheep, because you can see already that they're all starting to get their own personalities as well.
Our sheep are definitely personable here.
Yeah.
I might have had such a large head on mine that my legs are going to be quite stunted.
I'm very excited to see how yours stands up.
I don't think mine will stand up.
Now you can use your fingers or a toothpick just to smooth the 2 shapes together.
Okay, and I, maybe as a tip for campers at home, I decided to make mine all the length of a toothpick with one of the pointy ends pieced off, so that way I can have them all be the same. Because I'm a perfectionist, apparently.
I don't know how I did this, but I managed to eyeball the exact length. That doesn't usually work for me.
Good work. And as I say, you can use a whole cocktail stick like that, and that gives you a nice sturdy base for your Shaun as well. It means he's a little bit unmovable, but it's more Shaun the Table than Shaun the Sheep. But it does mean that he will stand and he won't fall over, so you can put him on your dashboard or throw him off at home and he'll kind of stay together a little better. But it should look a little something like that.
Ooh, can we get one?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, I think
Okay, all
I'm
right.
on schedule for that.
Legs and feet working together.
Now, while we get our legs and feet together, why don't we see if we have a few questions for over at our affiliates?
Great.
See if the our campers, our live campers, have anything.
Yeah, let's
They'd like
check
to
in and
ask.
see how they're going. So, affiliate, hi, how are your sheep coming along?
Say hi, guys.
I just finished mine.
You
Excellent.
finished yours,
Finished.
man.
Sure.
They're
Good.
way faster than us.
Those quick, small hands.
Are in space now.
Let's see it.
Look.
Here we go. Bring it on in.
Good work.
Let's see. Come closer.
Yeah, let's see if you
Yeah.
can bring it close to the camera.
Bring it into the camera so we can
Come
take a look.
closer. Come closer, child.
Closer, child. Closer.
There you go. Turn it sideways a little bit.
Great.
Oh, so cute.
Nice.
Wow, you did such a great job.
Yeah, seriously.
I like the eyes. They're very expressive.
Good and good.
To be like
Oh.
a fish with them on. So proud.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions?
Show
All
it.
right.
Oh.
Go ahead and ask.
Show it.
You want to stand up and say your name and ask your question?
Never mind.
Maybe you can tell me your question.
Show it. Okay, show it.
Got another one here.
Very nice. Very nice.
But your head and eyes on yours yet. She wants to know how far along you guys were. She couldn't see.
Oh yeah, well I am not an example to follow. I'm very far behind. I've just started to get my
We're just
my
getting
feet
our
and
legs,
legs
yeah.
together.
Wait, I have a question.
Somebody had a question?
Sarah, you've got a question over there at the affiliate site?
You have a question?
Sorry. What?
Did you have a question?
Yeah.
You can ask it. To me.
Jimmy
I'm
down.
trying to give a shoe out.
Ask your question.
Okay. I was wondering if you guys were if you guys could show an example of what yours looked like after you guys were done, if you guys were close enough.
Yeah, I
sure.
think we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what we can do is, as well as showing it to you when we're finished, I won't show you mine because I'm not good at it, but Jim can show you his. What we should do is we should take pictures and we'll put them up on the Google Plus site, and we can also put them up on ShaunTheSheep.com. And if
That'd
you
be
guys
great.
finish all yours, can you all take pictures of yours and put it up on the Google Plus site
Yeah,
as well?
Please do.
And then we can get them up on the site and show them off to everyone.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if anyone else is watching this as well, everyone just come and stick them all up there, and we'll have a look. It'll be great.
Join the flock.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm definitely going to put mine on there later. And maybe I'll jump onto the camper hangouts afterwards and show them off too, because we have, as many of you viewers know, we have special camper hangouts afterwards that really kind of, it allows everyone to have a little bit more interaction after the show. So jump on there too. And I think might have some questions from our counselors, from you viewers watching. So let's jump over to the counselors and see what all of you are asking.
Hey, yeah, so we have question from Kevin and Carson who want to know what is the most difficult part of claymation, and do you have any tips for getting started in making clay molds?
That's a really good question. Now, I would say there are 3 definite no-nos in stop motion. 3 most difficult things to animate are fire, water, and zebras. So if you have a zebra on fire diving into a pool of water, that's a really tricky thing.
And that happens so often.
Well, the pirates was a real problem because we had an awful lot of water, so we did again use a lot of CG technology to kind of base our puppets and our ships in the CG world of sea. But water we use lots of different things. We use kind of cling film, food wrap, and things like that, and acetate and all those kind of things, or we'll add a CG effect on. Fire, again, is quite a difficult thing because of the lighting and also kind of controlling that kind of thing. And zebras are really difficult because they kind of do what they do in the wild, and their shapes break up, so you actually makes it very difficult to see the face and see what's happening. So if you see Madagascar, he's actually more of a kind of painted pony. All the stripes are very triangular and right off the face, so you can actually see what's going on with him. And they're quite off the body as well, so otherwise he kind of tends to break up and you won't see him at all, so it kind of becomes perfectly camouflaged. So, but really to start in stop motion, this is a great point really. Bit of modelling clay, you can use some wire or just use raw clay and just have a play with it. And there are lots of bits of stop motion software out there. There's Aardman Animations have their very own one called Animate It, and you'll find that you can use that on PCs and Macs, and also on Android and the iPhone and iPad as well. And I use those a lot more than the PC or Mac based, because you can take them out into the field and you can film slugs and snails and bugs, and you can have kind of races with those, and you can do a lot of time lapse. You can do wildlife photography. You can film all sorts of different bits and pieces. So you don't actually have to be a great model maker. You can sculpt stuff if you like, or you can use it for drawing, or you can you can film a sunset or a sunrise, or jump around and kind of film yourself in the air. So use yourself as the most expensive or the cheapest puppets that you have available, so you can animate yourselves and animate your friends. So just getting in one and having a go. So really, the next best thing really with these Shauns when you've got them finished is to bring them to life like we do. So so get yourself a bit of animation software and a very basic camera like you're watching with now. Use a webcam and get it under the camera and have a go. Really, is the best thing to do, I think.
Yeah, I would, like with anything at all that you're ever doing, it's basically loving what you're doing and doing it lots. And if you love it and you just get on with it, then everything always works out in the end. So
yeah,
a lot of passion.
Is all it is, really.
Practice and passion.
I couldn't have said it better. That's a really great way to put it.
Passion.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's.
Yeah, Burke, yours looks so good. Okay, I gotta catch up. Okay, so next, I've got legs, and they are roughly the same size.
Very fine legs, really nice.
Thank you.
So the last thing we need to do, just the finishing touch to our legs, is to take your toothpick, and if you have the base of the foot facing the point, like so, that's kind of,
okay.
And we want to use that pointy end to make a kind of triangular cleft in the hoof. So just opening up the hoof and making a little triangular shape. So it's got that split hoof shape that sheep have on each of them, and then we're ready to
show it off.
I can just about see in a very blurry kind of fashion there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
It kind of starts to bring it to life. It makes him look a little bit more like a real sheep. We need to do that ×4, and then we're actually ready to assemble our Shaun.
Okay, so while we're putting these little bits on our feet here, let's take another question from you watching live. So, counselors, what are they asking?
So Cal wants to know what is Shaun the Sheep up to for the rest of the year?
Oh, that's a good question. Shaun's very busy at the moment. He's busy in the City, which is our Shaun in the City is our new feature film, and as I say, it's going to be finished filming, I think, November, December time, ready for a release early next year, I think, for 2015.
Early next year. So, yep. So he kind of gets to leave the farm for almost the first time. Yeah, and they get lost in the city. So there's a lot of disguise, jeopardy, confused farmers.
Yeah. So it's the first time we've kind of really properly left the farm in a big way. So it's opening up the world of Shaun into this big cityscape, and it's looking absolutely fantastic. Lots of new kind of great characters, and obviously all the kind of classics that we have from the series as well. So we're really busy with that right now, but there's lots more to come from Shaun. We're also rather excitingly, we have a project with the Shaun in the City. We're also making rather large, 4 foot, 5 foot fiberglass versions of Shaun that we're having artists and designers and celebrities decorating, and it's all kind of for charity, but we're going to have them in London and also in our hometown of Bristol as well, all on display, so people can kind of bid on those and kind of tour around London and Bristol.
They're like hidden around the city, so you have to go around these two cities and find them hidden.
Yeah, so that's a really exciting thing as well.
I love that. We have something similar in Santa Rosa with Snoopy, because the Snoopy is from Santa Rosa. But yeah, I love that. And is there a place where people can go online to find out more about that specific project?
I think it's through the Aardman.com website.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start. I think it's Sheep in the City.
Yeah, I think otherwise.
Yeah, so there is a website. We're building it right now, so we'll get it finished soon and get it up there, and you'll be able to see it. I think there's something up there right now.
I think there is also the opportunity for artists and designers out there to submit their own designs.
Yeah, that's true.
For going on the Shaun as well, so you could get your very own design put onto a Shaun.
Yeah. So we'll put the link up on the kind of forum camp afterwards. So.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds awesome. Yeah. So. Okay, I got feet, I've got a head, I've got hair, I've got eyes, and I got a body. So
We've
now
got all we need to finish our Shaun. So I'm just going to quickly pin some leg attachments into the body. As I say, some of you have rather brilliantly already put the leg locations in, so we need to find kind of roughly the corners of his body, and then pin those on. So if you've done like me and you've kind of put the legs on afterwards, you can just find each corner. It's a bit like a table, really. Find each corner or a pommel horse, just kind of pin those on, and then carefully slide the legs on. Now mine are a little on the long side, so I'm going to tear a little bit off, and then just pin them in and make sure they're all roughly the same height, so we don't end up with a wonky sheep. And then quite long, is it? Shaun does have very long legs though, so
we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Again, it's kind of part of the charm. So they're all going to be slightly different anyway. And then we can also put the head on, and then the last thing to do really is to put the hair and the eyes in. But what I would do is give your hands a wipe just to make sure they're as clean as possible for that bit. I must say, they're all looking fabulous. Standing well there, it's looking really good.
But I'm okay with it.
I somehow managed to balance my Shaun. I'm not sure how either.
I was waiting for his big giant head to go on and then see whether it'll do the
yeah, yours has a huge head.
Yeah, I'm wondering how this will go.
You know, I'm preparing the scorecards for the... Oh, nice.
Excellent.
It's there.
Okay.
So really just give your hands a wipe, and then you can put your eyeballs in. You don't want dirty eyeballs. Put your hair on, And the very last touch really is then just to add a pupil so he can see what he's actually doing and bring him fully to life.
Yeah, since mine has such a large head, I reserved the very last bit of my black clay for the pupils.
Now it's up to you how big they are as well, really. So you can, again, the bigger the pupils, it makes him look younger and more like a lamb or a kind of, say a manga or anime kind of character. But you can kind of adjust them as you go along, really.
But it's quite a small amount, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a surprisingly small amount.
Yeah, my eyes are huge. Goodness. The best thing is to be adaptable and to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I dropped a pupil.
This happens a lot as well. You do find that animators do tend to lose bits on set, so we just have spare ears and eyelids and eyes just in case they get lost in the hedges or in the long grass along the way.
And then, do you recommend another spike for the hair to hold on?
Just placing it right on top, it should just kind of sit on really nicely. Where you've got that flat platform you've put on earlier, should look really nice. That's looking great. That's it.
My Shaun the Sheep wants to take a nap because it keeps falling. But I'm okay with that. I also enjoy naps, so we get along well.
It's a good personality match, I'd say.
Now, if you find you've got two hooves bigger than the others, you can always put those on the back and hide those as well, so you don't notice it so much. But they're looking fabulous. I think they're really great so far. The three in the room are looking great.
I might have it done.
Well, look at you, Bert.
I don't know if I could lift this without breaking it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try though to see if I can get it near to the camera.
Brilliant.
And if it goes out of style, then that's it. There we go.
Oh, yours looks so cute, Bert.
Yeah. He's a little cross-eyed, but
No, I like that. It's kind of characterful. It's
I'd say that matches my personality, frankly.
Slightly crazed.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to pick mine up here. So here's my Shaun.
Love it.
Adorable. That's
That's great.
All right, and I'll put pictures of this up on the community page later, so all of you can check it out. And you better post yours too.
Yes, we want to see them.
I'm not gonna post my fingernail covered Shaun the Sheep if
Well,
you don't. So go for it.
All doing brilliantly. You're all slightly ahead of me, actually. This is
You've been talking.
Yeah.
I can show off.
Obviously, once with practice, you'll get to our level. One day.
Yeah, now I can definitely make games better than I can make Shaun's, but hopefully that'll make people feel better.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, but have you seen his neck? Yeah, it's got like,
The neck is an interesting style choice.
Yeah.
I should point out actually that it's
Really
all
peering in.
the placing of the neck. What you've both done actually is kind of a classic thing. If you see on mine, is lost an eye pupil at the moment. Hang on 2 seconds. I've stuck it to the table. There we go. So it's got a slight fisheye now, but you can just see the neck kind of comes from the base of the skull. So you got it right there actually. That's looking good.
so that was Dan.
So if you just Dan's just
Whereas
great.
I went straight from
The back of the chin.
The back of the chin, yes. You're right, I hadn't thought about that before.
So it's
but
just
yeah.
about a little bit of anatomy as well. But there we have the kind of finished thing. Now, as I say, you can add more wool texture with the leftover white clay if you like, and kind of fleece him right up and make him really, really fluffy. Or in my case, it's a freshly shorn Shaun.
They look awesome.
Great.
This is so fun.
This is a lot of fun.
This is a very fun day.
I enjoyed this.
I love the
so much.
participation.
I'm not sure what time it is over there, but you can say already that you've achieved. So you can leave happy.
Yeah, no, I'm going home. Can't do any better than this.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just this is awesome.
So
Hannah's been off screen helping us out here, but I feel like she's done so much hard work. She should at least come and show you.
Hi everyone.
Oh, it looks great.
Fine.
Wow.
A little long.
Those are amazing and awesome.
See, with all the same instructions and we've got the same amount of clay, they all look so different, and you've all put your own personalities in there as well. So I think you've all achieved. It's fantastic.
They're so fun, and campers, yeah, let's check out the affiliate site. You've got tons of, put them up to the camera. Let's see.
All right, hold them up, guys.
Oh no!
Man.
Warrior outfits.
They're awesome. I want to see pictures of those up close on the
post them
Google
on our
Plus page.
We've accessorized as well.
Yeah, I like the one with the Mohican.
Oh, today has been so much fun, and I
Yes,
just want to
it
thank
has.
everyone for being here all the way from our affiliate site and for being here from Aardman Animations.
Yes.
All of you, thank you so much,
Thank you so
Jim and
much.
Dan. You have been so fun, and we've had the best time. And today was great. So.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you!
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
be sure to check out Shaun's Game Academy, and also check out our demo, our Scratch demo at Maker Camp 2013.
Go
we
back
have
to
one
Maker
there.
Camp 2013. There's a really great demo.
Yeah, so Scratch is a fantastic way to start learning programming. I mean, anyone can use it. It's very simple. It gives you the basic ideas of what you need to know to understand programming better. And I'm really glad that Aardman Animation is doing that with Shaun's Academy, Shaun's Game Academy. I mean, having those assets there means that you can also animate, Shaun the Sheep, which is great.
That's
exciting.
great. I'm so excited to see what all of you do with that and the amazing directions that you're going to take it. And this is just the best way to kick off Make Believe Week, which is like my baby.
With our dirty hands.
With our dirty hands.
And our Shaun the Sheeps.
Yeah, this week is like my baby, so I'm so excited for it. And Burke, who do we have on tomorrow?
Yeah, we are going face to face with makeup artist Margaret Kerrigan. She's going to show us how to do spooky, special effects. She's going to do like a zombie. Is that what I?
Yeah, Margaret Kerrigan. You may have seen her on Face Off. Not this season, but not the one that's just starting, but the one before that. She's amazing. She's got some fun, awesome makeup special effects that she's going to be showing off. So stick around. This is my day. Makeup special effects. I got it down. So campers, if you were inspired by anything fun you saw on the show today, remember, do try this at home. Goodbye, campers.